What most impressed me about this place is the quietness. Okay. Usually when we to relax for a week, sometimes we don't have enough time to relax. When you stay here for a long period of time, somehow, the place somehow makes me change the sense of the time. Here we have like these several houses called Masias. And Masias, it takes part of a mass, which is a plot of several buildings. Here we have the main house, we have the algrané. And here they used to store the straw and also the grain. And this other house, it was for the workers who used to work in the field.
Because it was a farm, or what was it originally?
Yeah. All these houses were related to farming. We have the main building from 12th century. We have the first text written from the 1305. It was the father of the family who signed to give the property to his son. At the beginning, you can imagine the house was much smaller. If we pay attention, sometimes we find, look this line, for example, here. It's clear that the house used to finish here, and then they attached this part. So this is something also I really like. When you pay attention to the house, you find these secrets.
Yeah, it's like history just trapped here.
Correct. This part of here was to help people to jump on top of the horses. So people could go up and then just ride the horse. So yeah, we can go in.
Oh, it's so stone, just the entire thing. I mean, the floor is stone, the whole...
Yeah. I'm not sure, but in my opinion, probably they had some sand. Like not much, just to make it more flat, because otherwise it's difficult.
So the size of the key.
Yeah, it's quite annoying. When I go to have dinner or something, you have to put this on the jacket and sometimes it doesn't fit.
No way, you don't really use this key.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to take it everywhere with me.
How can you live in a house like this? How did you end up here?
I started working with RCR. RCR is an architectural studio. In 2017, they bought this house from a man called Joaquim Trincheria. He wanted to leave this place to someone who would have respect for the place.
Some things are just from another time, but also so beautiful. Is that a toilet?
Yeah, correct.
I mean, we would call it these days compost toilet. So are these to just hide the animals?
Yeah. There was some animals living because they used the heat of the animals to heat the first floor. And the servants, at the beginning they used to live here in the ground floor next to the animals, you can imagine. But then when the house became bigger, they moved to the top level. The entry for the main house is this one. The date's 1788. The servants, they could go upstairs to their bedrooms without annoying the principal family. Okay. And then they also have access to the kitchen without passing through the house. So this used to be the typical kitchen.
Wow, so the hearth is huge.
Yeah.
So this is the flue, this is huge. So this is where all the
smoke
goes.
Yeah. So they usually hang things from the top. the pans and the big pots just to put it on top of the fire, and they could remove it easily.
The fire was just kind of right here and open, and
Yeah, probably the fire was on the floor. People used to sit around. And in winter, this is the main place because it's so cold. So
but you're using this now.
yeah, it's my kitchen. We cook here in the fire.
That's what the grate is for, to directly put something on?
Yeah. We can put a pan. The other day we were doing some eggs here. We use this to drink wine. It's a purro. Nowadays maybe it doesn't have much sense, but before we have these big barrels. So we used to fill it from here, but as you can see, it gets oxygenate, or because the wine goes around, and everyone can share it, and this also helps to get warm. We leave the kitchen. And now we will go inside the main house. So the chimney, it's modern. It's metal, painted black. And then we can also find modern elements like this chair for a writer, Cercas, a Spanish writer. And what they did, they scanned the body of the writer in 3D, and then yeah. And then we have the old elements. It has an interesting story because there was a group of carpenters that came during 100 days. They lived on the superior floor and they came here to build it during 100 days. And we can see the date here as well, 1791. This was the main room for the family. So this bed, it was not industrial made, it was artisanal. And there was not only one person or one professional working on it. There was several persons, and in this case there was a carpenter, a painter, and then there was also another artist. He was the one who put gold paper attached to the furniture.
So that's not paint, that's gold paper.
Well, this is paint, but this, for example, is gold paper. And this is the l'escut dels Trinxeria.
Ah, the coat of arms, huh?
Well, the family comes from the war. It was a war family. And the nephew from Trinxeria came here, and he explained me that this, that seems like a wave, actually is a una trinchera.
A trench.
A trench. And, well, that's the story. I don't know if it's true, but he was the one who invented la trinchera.
Like trench warfare.
As a technique.
As a technique. So that's why they give him the name of Trinxeria. This is for babies.
The cradle.
It's quite old because Joaquim de Trinxeria, the last owner, he used to sleep here.
That was his cradle as a baby.
It's also very interesting when we have these small windows. And you have visual connection with the entry. So if someone knocks the door, they could just have a look who was there.
And this was the wash basin then, I guess?
And also the toilet, because it was cold and the toilet was far, they just take the pot and...
Oh, that was a chamber pot, like they would use that.
Yeah, and then in the morning, the servants, probably they used to change it and clean it.
You notice the quality of the light here, because nobody ever put any modern lighting in, really, not much. So it's also, the lighting's so soft, it's just, I would think that would also change how you feel in this place.
Yes, actually, well, when you go inside the house, sometimes you change your mood, and going outside again somehow is an effort sometimes. So we can go to the most recent part of the house, which is still old.
Sound is quite something. You have birds, water.
Yeah. These are paintings. The Trincheria family had some relationship with America, with these colonial things in the South America.
We have another date on that door, right? 1798.
This is the entrance of the chapel. We also have here the baptismal
Font.
and the entrance. Actually, this chapel está concebuda para el Papa.
Consecrated by the Pope?
Yeah.
Wow.
By an old pope, probably
yeah.
centuries ago.
Yeah, 1 or 2 centuries ago. We have a document signed. Right? So you can have marriage here, baptize someone, but we have other chapels and religious buildings around, so more or less each family had his own place to go.
Why is there water running through? Is that
Around the house,
a trough?
yeah, we can see there was this channel, I don't know how to call it, but this prevents from insects and rats and animals to cross and go inside the house. That's the water coming around the house, as you noticed before. Wow. It's quite, yes, it's frozen. No, I don't. And this was for farming. So actually, there was pigs and cows. The idea of this pool is people could swim at the same time. You can see it's water coming from the river, and horses could come here and drink from the
trough.
yeah, from this. What I really like is this wall, which seems very traditional, but actually it's completely new. Using a lot of technology because they need the water not to pass through, so somehow inside it's... Yeah. Okay.
Right, so it's the old sort of dry stone method.
Yeah, but this combination of new and traditional, I really like it.
So this is a very rural place, far from any important city, yet RCR, they achieved the most important prize in architecture. How did that happen? Is that because they didn't forget, instead of just going to Barcelona, they stayed here?
Mm-hmm. I think they had in mind that they could do something here in the rural area. They are very well recognized around the world to have this relationship between architecture and landscape and respect the landscape. And somehow the architecture helps also the person to have this approach to nature and feel it.
So a mill would have been kind of essential for the Mas.
Yes. It was made later, after the house, but what we can see is 2 constructions. We have the mill and the cabin of the mill. So in one place they could live, and the other one it was the workplace.
This would have been fairly self-sufficient.
Completely, yes. The water actually comes from the top, and then they store it in a bath. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, in the reservoir?
Yeah. We can also empty the water coming from the...
You can empty the reservoir.
Yeah, we do it from here. When we need to clean it, for example, we just open here the like a door, and all the water comes. And the water, after moving the mill, The water comes from here and just leaves to the river again.
So the turbine is down here, huh?
Yeah, can control how much water we want, and then we turn the turbine here, and that's what make turn the millstone.
So here we have a broken stone, right? A millstone that was broken.
Yeah,
Huge though. Look how big. Look how. I mean, that's a huge piece of rock. Yeah, it's interesting that they made such an effort to divert the water and make this whole process where a lot of times mills were built right on top of a river and it was just, it's probably easier, right? Like you're getting that, but they didn't quite have the momentum.
yeah, because it's the river is just
It started right above.
yeah.
This is the reservoir you're talking about?
Yes, but the water comes from the river, from this tube there,
Okay.
and they store the water here, and then when it's full, then the water leaves again to the river. So there's always the same level.
So this was a way of creating a mill without having a huge river constantly running past.
Correct.
And you see a pipe down there, so that must have been fairly new, or what?
Yes, because this water is used to drink, or it was used to drink before.
I see, it's very clear.
Yeah, so we are the first one to receive the water from the mountains. And because there is no animals like cows that can contaminate the water, this water is completely clean. Yeah. But people, like in summer, people used to swim here. It's very calm.
So this space is it's a mill, a water mill that has been transformed into a living quarter.
Yes. But it still keeps some elements from the mill. Downstairs we can see the wheel, the stone wheel. This used to be a working space with a millstone, and they used to throw the grain from here. And using this element, they could control how much water they want to.
So this was opening up
Yeah.
the pipe, or
Correct.
oh, so depending on how fast they wanted it to move.
And then the water passes under the house, and then it goes back to the river.
So it would come in here, and it would come through, and then out.
The grain, we throw the grain here, then the grain used to fall from here, and here they could just collect the flour.
Does this move still? Can you push it, or is it stuck in place now?
Actually, I think this is like something fixed, but then the stone you could move it.
Okay, the millstone inside.
And probably a turbine was moving it.
Yeah.
With the force of the water.
And the turbine is down.
But below the house.
Yeah, below the house. So the last owners asked to RCR to make some renovation of this place, and mainly the toilet. It's completely new. You have these views of outside. While you are showering here, you have this feeling of being in the middle of the forest. There is a big contrast, no? Of this part of the house which is very close, and this one is very open.
Yeah.
The floor is original.
The planks are just massive.
Yeah.
Was there a reason why they put this kind of wooden floor in here and in other places?
It's simplicity probably. Because actually we can see the beam here and the floor directly. So we have the same system downstairs.
So here this fireplace again is like In the main house, you have a big fireplace.
There is also an oven here. This element from here is used to cook, so they could hang a pot from here and they could move it on top of the fire and then just bring it back.
So there are some elements in the windows. Were these elements for sitting?
Yes, like a couple, they could sit one in front of the other.
Yeah.
And they have the views of outside, and sometimes they could flirt at the same time. So in many castles we can see this, and they could see outside.
The stone building here, would most of the stone come from the area as well, just from the
Yeah.
property area? Yeah.
The difference from Olot is very volcanic. This area is not that volcanic, so we can find different kinds of stone. And probably this was to clean things, and probably there was a hole here to throw the water outside.
Oh, it's a sink.
Yeah, sink. That's to the kitchen, so they could clean and then.
All right, clean their pots or,
Yeah.
yeah.
So cozy here.
Yeah.
So nice.
What I like as well, that you can see the reflection of the water here in the ceiling.
Oh. This is the anti-city.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of people living here, actually. Like if the servants, the owners, the workers, it was a big family, we can call it. The people working here, probably it was a seasonal work as well. For the grain, they used to make a lot of flour, and then they stopped for a period of time.
Oh my gosh, it's small.
Yeah, it's very small. Here there is only this bed and the bathroom here.
So they probably didn't want to put a lot of windows for heat reasons, right? For like keeping it insulated. So they just do the minimal lookout window. Is that what that is?
Correct. And probably like very functional, because probably it's orientated to some, yeah.
The road coming up or something?
Yeah, they could see who was coming from this side.
So there was just a place to sleep in a bathroom.
Yeah, but then in the first floor there is a small kitchen and a living room.
This is a more humble, after being in the Masia, this is a really, really humble place. That can be, you know, once you are habituated, I mean, you have more clearance here than downstairs. Did you change anything, or they were using it as a living quarter when RCR bought it?
They did nothing here. They leave it like it was before. In this case, in this house.
This almost feels like somebody would want to come here as an way to intentionally, like Thoreau's cabin.
Yeah, sure. Like people who came here, it's more looking for peace and quietness. And yeah, actually, we are attached to the forest, to the mountain. Also, we have the river and you can listen to the water. So here the nature has some power as well, because they could remove all these stones. When it rains, it can be very heavy. And nowadays, we have lost a little bit of how the people used to use the mountain. For example, here we can see there was a path. Nowadays already lost. They used to work more in the mountain. With time, they get lost.
What is this?
So this is part of the exhibition of La Biennale of Venice of 2018. They designed this project as a dream. They use these circles with this effect, the Fresnel effect, that distorts the image. And it makes you feel like you are in a dream because you don't know what is real, what is not, you don't have a clear image.
It's really distorted. It's like a strange house of mirrors.
It was more about to explain this dream at the beginning, but when they placed it here, they found that it matched a lot with nature because also we have the reflection of nature in these discs, yes.
So do you feel like then you're also part of this relationship with nature here, that you've kind of connected a different way being out here?
Yeah, but I needed some time, you know?
Yeah.
It was not one day to another.
Yeah.
And yes, I also follow the rhythm of the nature. And I feel it after 2-3 months, I started getting more connected with nature. But that was nice. Yeah.
Wow, it took 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Just to kind of slow down?
Slow down when there is no more sun. You go inside the house, maybe you start the fire and you don't go to sleep, but you start another rhythm of the day.
Like kind of like it used to be, I guess.
Yeah. I will show you Laera, which probably in English, it doesn't have any translation. So in this place, what they used to do is to separate the straw from the grain. So they used to separate the straw from the grain. So then the straw, they could store it somewhere, and then the grain also put them on the facade. So with the sun, they become dry. As you can see, now it's in the morning, the sun comes from the east, and then in the midday, the sun comes from the south. So it's a perfect orientation.
So this was always open,
Yes,
just for drying of the straw.
yeah, and the grain as well. Here we have a date, 1625. So
That's incredible that it's wood and it's so old and it's in good shape.
yeah,
So are these some original tools?
yes. This element, they used to attach some rocks, as you can see here, and they used to attach an animal. It helps to remove the grain from the straw.
It feels almost like art, and they are the most utilitarian part of the whole place.
The mentality of the people who live here is the functionality of the things. So they didn't used to do things for beauty, we're gonna say. It was very functional. If it doesn't use, we don't need it.
Yet for us, time has passed, and for us, it's very beautiful. There is some
The pureness, maybe. The essence, and maybe that's what RCR see in this place. That was pure somehow.
So you have here something which is so true. It's not basic, it's elemental. Everything has a meaning in this. It's well put. So you wouldn't put anything more or rest something. So this is why it's really perfect, yes.
This is a table in process. We are waiting still for the chairs.
You can work on a space with your layer and respect history, but this doesn't mean that you have to hide behind that. You can put your own layer on it, your contemporary contribution, but leaving the possibility to read the other layers. So this is important too, no? To leave these traces of time, because their buildings also have a lot to do with making time visible. And also to feel other times slower. When times are slower, or even that you can read so different times of a same building and how it grows and how it gets this presence we have today.
So you as an architect, when you come here and you see, for example, this floor, the materials they used, how it aged, you get inspired? Do you think it's going to make an imprint in who you are in the long term, staying here, being here?
I think so. Yeah, I appreciate a lot when I wake up and you just go downstairs and you open the door and you can listen to the birds and smell the air, the fresh air. Yeah, I think so.